What's going on, guys? Michael here, 360 Digital Closing Bell. I am live from an undisclosed location in Denver here on this beautiful April 28th. The sun is shining. I've got all the windows open in my office. As always, we are joined by Stuart Turley. He is coming to us from Dallas and an undisclosed location within that city, which Texas is about ready to reopen, which is awesome. How you doing today, Stu?
I'm doing fantastic. It is a beautiful day. Texas is opening on Friday.
I love it. I love it. We got a great show for you lined up. We're going to talk about the digital ticker. There's a bunch of interesting points that I think we're going to go over from a Haynes and Boone interview that happens this morning called the Weekly Energy Tracker Digital Ticker. Oil stocks up, oil stocks up, equities down, oil down big. We'll get into all of it in the digital ticker. But first, I need to do some clerical work. If you are not subscribed to the 360 Digital Closing Bell, please go do that. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, whatever makes the algorithms go nuts. Please do that. Subscribe, resubscribe. Like I said, I don't know how the algorithms quite work. I probably should because this is my job, but whatever makes them go nuts, do that. We really appreciate it. It's the best way to stay up to date on everything energy finance. We have a new episode that will be dropping Friday, which is our weekly look back before the market opens. Also, all of these great interviews that Enercom is doing on their Oil and Gas 360 platform, you can visit it at www.oilandgas360.com. You can check out on the Energy 360 podcast where it has all of the interviews we've been doing. It's a highly recommended interview series where top industry leaders around, and really what they're going for is thought leadership, having a bunch of people who are experts in certain fields come in and give their opinions on what's happening and how they think people should move forward. We've interviewed a host of great people. You can check that out on iTunes, and Spotify exclusively, the Energy 360 podcast. All right, digital ticker, like I mentioned, equities down today, energy equities up. When's the last time we've seen that? When's the last time, Stu, we were able to say that? Energy equities up, but equities as a whole down.
I don't know.
It's not been quite some time, but that's what we see. SPY closing 28.63. That's down about 0.5%. Nasdaq down, Nasdaq closing 86.84, so down 1.37% for tech stocks. Dow Jones just stays above 2,400, losing about 32 points. Today's closing at 24,101. That's down about 0.13%. Boeing had a great day holding that up. Crude oil, as I mentioned, didn't do well, only down 10%. Rallied late in the day. Was really down very low, or was down at about 10.07 at the lowest today, able to climb back up, closing at $12.68. 12-month strip doing a little bit better, gaining 0.3% or 10 cents on the flip side to 31.16. Natural gas, I actually took that out as a small portfolio hedge in our podcast fund, down 0.3% or down 30 cents, excuse me. That's about 1.7% to $1.78. 12-month strip, though, doing a little bit better, $2.91 or down about 3/4 of a penny, down 0.1%. XOP, which is our E&C securities contract, like I said, up 0.94% or up about 45 cents, 48.48. Great number for the XOP. Our OHI contract, which is our oil field services, does even better, gains 4% on the day and seeing $100.31. Remember, there's a 20-to-1 stocks, but really that means that oil. This is now $5 for the OIH. If you've been following this podcast for a while, this equates to about $5 when you talk about that 20-to-1 stock split. Unbelievable! If you'd have told me 3 months ago that oil would be $12 and OIH would be $5, I would have said you don't agree. And into our quick personal picks before we get out. Bonanza Creek up 2.12% at $14.95. I gained about 10 cents per my entrance point there. Apache doing very well. Stu, you said you're going to exit that position. That was up about 1.6 today.
It was about 1.6, but not feeling good. Not feeling love. My LNG is up just a little bit. I'm going to still hang in there, and Enphase is doing really well.
And really, I just, before we move on to which stocks did big and lose, remember, these picks are all for entertainment purposes only. Everyone on the show, i.e. me and Stu, we invest for our own and do not manage anyone else's money. We do not give investment advice. We do not offer securities or have any involvement in the regulatory side of the industry. Remember, investing is risky and you can and will sometimes lose all of your principal. With that being said, some of our biggest movers on the day, Intero Resources on the downside, losing about 7%, down to $2.21, which is very interesting. They're all large natural gas players, so you can kind of see them ride that wave. I know I took out a little fake position in natural gas today, so we'd like to see those up, but I think over time you'll continue to see these companies rise. Permian Rock Trust down 7.61% or to $1.82. CNX Resources, ticker symbol CNX, down 17% to $10.70. On the upside, though, great day. QEP Resources, who's a A company that was originally based out of Denver, now probably looking for new office space, up 14.5% to 55 cents. Coterra Energy up 15.4% to $4.10. And Par Pacific Holdings, they've been in the news a lot, 19% on the upside, or about $8.20. Stu, what's on the news desk you got to keep us up for?
Oh, pretty crazy. Today, EIA put out, and I don't know if this is good news or bad news, but in 2019, U.S. energy production exceeded consumption for the first time in 62 years. Since December, it's only gotten worse. So
yeah, no kidding. If that happened in 2019, oh my goodness.
So that being said, there's lots of other good stuff coming around. We can visit on our podcast.
No, I'll be excited. That podcast drops every Friday before the market opens. And really, my one big thing is just a couple of key takeaways. If you are not tuning in to the Haynes and Boone Weekly Energy Tracker that is sponsored by Aegis and Enercom, who are two of really the top thought leaders in this industry, you should really be doing that. You can check this out at Haynes. Where can people go to actually get this on their calendar? So is there a landing page on oilandgas360.com?
Yes, and you can find the email address there and shoot a note, and they'll get you signed up.
It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday mornings. They're at 8 Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Central Time. Really what they do is they cover the markets from both a law perspective, but really from a financial standpoint, from a more of a hedging side, which I love when they bring in Aegis Energy, who's one of the people in that industry that really respect. But they also talk about the finance investor relations side, and that's where the president of Enercom, Aaron Vanderford, comes in. He does a great job explaining. But really some of the key takeaways that I took away, and Stu was sitting on this call that we chatted about, was one, they brought up PAD 3. And if you're unfamiliar with how pads work, the United States is structured into 5 geographic pads, and that's how the EIA reports production. If you're from PAD 3, it includes New Mexico, Texas, some of those southern states. And what we're seeing is while Cushing maybe has a little more storage, PAD 3, which includes all of Texas, New Mexico, it is up at a 5-year high, but it also doesn't include what's going on in the SPR. And that was another part of the call that they talked about, was that the SPR is being heavily talked about, even though it wasn't included in the original stimulus. This next round of stimulus that comes in specifically for the oil and gas, look to the SPR to be utilized. There's so many different ways they can do it. And part of the reason they're doing it is because, like I mentioned, PAD 3, which is the oil and gas, which is probably the largest pad, which includes Texas, Oklahoma, and some of these southern states like New Mexico, who produce a lot of oil and gas. It is at a 5-year high, and you're going to be looking to do something. That interest rates are on some sort of a forward curve, and there's a lot of other stuff that are going into it. Please, I encourage you to check out the weekly energy tracker that's hosted by Haynes and Boone. Enercom is a part of that. It's highly recommended. I learned so much great stuff. Tuesday mornings, 8 bright and early. If you're Mountain Time, 9 p.m. if you're in Texas, and if you're on the East Coast for us, that's 10 Eastern. Any Pacific Coast. I was on Pacific Coast for about 8 months. So that's 7 a.m. We cover all our time zones here. But I think with that, we're going to go and let you guys finish up your day strong. Thank you for checking out the 360 Digital Closing Bell here on Oil and Gas 360. We will see you guys tomorrow.